way, as far as skill is concerned, is not Kevin McHale. Let's leave it at that. Number 5. 5 toughest NBA players. There's a mental capacity to this, too. It's one thing to be physical. It's one thing to be a mental assassin. And a lot of these guys that I have on this list are mental assassins. Number 5, all-time tough, Gus Johnson. Who's Gus Johnson, you ask? Go ask the late Dave DeBusschere. A tremendous power forward for the old Washington Bullets. Rugged, physical, played his rear end off. 5-time All-Star, one of the most unheralded players you ever see. 2-time All-Defensive Player. Gus Johnson, with those great Knick battles in the late 60s, early 70s, has to be on this list. Number 4, without any question whatsoever, do I have who's 4? You're going to put Cowens 4? Fine by me. Go ahead. Put Dave Cowens 4. Dave Cowens was as good a 6'8 center as you were ever going to see in the NBA. He won an MVP, he won 2 NBA championships, he won a Rookie of the Year, and he's in the Hall of Fame. This man played against Wilt, this man played against Kareem, this man played in an era where they were their centers. Dave Cowens was also the MVP. The team won 68 games. Remember that famous play when he's sliding across the floor with the basketball across the timeout in the 74 final? Dave Cowens, don't even argue it. Number 4. Number 3, I love him, Mo Lucas. Played at Marquette for McGuire. Played in the ABA for the St. Louis Spirits. Maurice Lucas, who stared down Darryl Dawkins in the 77 NBA Final against Philly to a fist fight in Philadelphia, took all the heart away from the 76ers.
A fist fight?
And led Portland to winning that series. You'll get a chance.
That's what you call a fist fight?
And defended and protected Walt. He is so good, it's not even debatable. 6'11", a monster, mentally tough. Don't even go there. Don't go there with him. Don't you dare go there with him. Number 2 and 1 you can't argue with, and there's a mental capacity too. Toughness. Kobe is number 2. This is a guy that shot a free throw with a torn Achilles tendon. This person, all defense. He'd do anything to beat you. He'd play his rear end off. No load management nonsense. He'd play 82 games a year. How could anybody ever argue with Kobe being one of the top 5 toughest players in the history of the NBA? And his protege is number 1, 6-time NBA champion. We all know about the MVPs. Don't even argue it. Michael Jordan, number 1. Jordan, Kobe, Lucas, Cowens, Gus Johnson. Folks, I have done a lot of these lists. The Steelers last week may have been a mistake. Maybe Stephen A. won for a change. I'll give you that. Number 3, as far as dynasties are concerned. This list is unarguable. Don't put Draymond Green on the, whatever you do yourself a favor.
I'm not going to throw shade on your list. I'm trying to fix my mic here. I don't know why this damn thing keeps falling off, so I apologize for that. But I'm gonna sit there and say this to you, Dougie. I don't know why. When you look at the list, I don't have any issue with your top 4. Maurice Lucas was an enforcer, no doubt about it. Dave Cowens was a champion, personified, and everything you said about him was right on point. Of course, I'm not questioning Jordan and Kobe. All of them, maybe with the exception of Lucas, may have Draymond Green beat offensively. Defensively, I'm talking about guys on the interior and what they're able to do. You got Gus Johnson, you got Maurice Lucas, you got Dave Cowens, fine. Here's where I would challenge you with Maurice Lucas and Gus Johnson. I'd actually put Cowens at 3 ahead of Lucas. That would be me, because he's got more chips, and obviously he stood out despite the great teams that he played on. He still stood out, and Dave Cowens was something to behold, okay? I mean, to me, he was the personification. He was basically, I think you'll appreciate this analogy, he was Pete Rose in a basketball uniform.
Yeah, very good one.
Charlie
very
Russell.
Good. Yeah.
All right, that was Dave Cowens. So I'd put him at 3. Here's what I would challenge you on with Lucas and Gus Johnson. Yeah, when you're talking about toughness, intimidating force, you know, the Oakleys of the world, let's throw them in there as well. People like that, Lambert, Mahorn, others, got you. My issue is you're not appreciating Draymond Green's ability to defend not just on the interior, but to defend on the perimeter as well. He can go out and defend perimeter players. He's quick of foot. He's athletic. He's got agility. He's got good movement. And what he brings on a defensive side of the ball, Draymond Green is one of the greatest defensive players the game has seen. I don't understand how you could ignore Dennis Rodman, but have Maurice Lucas and Gus Johnson up in there. So if you're talking about toughness in terms of being some kind of enforcer, I'm not going to touch your list. All right. But if you're talking about, I'm talking about toughness in terms of what you're capable of doing on the defensive side of the ball to thwart what an opponent wants to do against you. When you look at Draymond Green could be top 5 all time on that list because Maurice Lucas couldn't go out on the perimeter and defend anybody. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't see much of Gus Johnson, so it's hard for me to say. When you talk Gus Johnson, I was thinking about Gus Johnson, the point guard from the Seattle Supersonics that played with Dennis Johnson and downtown Freddie Brown and Jack Sikma and those boys. That's the Gus Johnson I was thinking about. But maybe I'm sorry, Gus Williams. My bad. I'm just saying to you, I look at Draymond Green. There's an argument that he's top 5 all time because of what he was capable of doing on the defensive side of the ball, Dougie.
Well, fair. Excellent. We're not screaming and yelling as much, 100%. And I'm not looking to just do this to bother Green. But the key here was this.
Toughest.
Tough.
But he is tough.
You didn't ask me to name the 5 best defensive players. You asked me to name the 5
Gentlemen, what does it mean when I walk over? What does it mean when I walk out? It means it's time to go. It means it's time to go.
Actually,
sandwich of all time.
And that deserves a chef's kiss.
It does.